So we just pulled up in here. No sooner got out of the trucks, Jonathan standing over there, and we heard this like, woo, and it repeated twice. Woo, woo. Jonathan's recording it. My recorders are both dead. Hopefully the audio on this is good enough. My turn.
Yes. Wait.
Okay. Yeah, try and keep in the shade. We're all trying to hide out from the sun.
Right on.
So, I like to do an after review of everything that went, so that maybe the idea is to learn. What went well, what didn't go well, and what to maintain. So what an estimation of what does everybody think went well? And then I got one other thing we're going to add after that. Top 3 favorite pieces of gear on this trip. All right. So,
do I get a day? Think about all this. Let me grab a water. You go first, Brett.
So what went well?
Yeah.
I think what went well is, we came together with a solid plan, that we all kind of instinctively knew what to do and had the same goal of coming out and trying to just investigate the area, be honest with ourselves, honest with our interpretations of what we experienced, and just do the best that we can. And I feel that went very well. Were we successful in getting that money shot or getting a confirmation? No, but can't win all the time. All you can do is present what's going on and let it happen. So I think that went very well for us.
What about you, John?
I am very pleased as well. Very pleased. For me, getting started in this, I wasn't really a group individual. So when I get with the group, I have to understand to mix and be understanding of other viewpoints. Because I think each one of us are already thinking about what we would like to do when we get here.
Right.
And each one of us have a plan ourselves. And what I saw that worked really well here is that once we put our heads together, we were able to absorb each other's ideas and add each other's thoughts, and then we mixed them together and went off. And I saw a lot of patience, where one of us is gonna, say for instance me, we just heard something, a stick snap or where, hey guys, what if I just go ahead down in there? Well, you guys didn't say, no man, come on, let's go do this. They're up on that hill over there. I just know it. No, we went ahead with that. It only takes a moment. Bill's gonna set up which reminds me, We have not gone over there by the creek where Cascade Bigfoot had its experience. We
Yeah,
got a
I'm-
trail cam over there, and we have an audio.
I was
Don't
gonna
you
pick
have
that
an
up on the
audio?
way
Is that
out.
still there?
Yeah.
The only one we got was the one up there on the fence post I grabbed. Oh, did you know that was off?
It would die. I know it would die.
Okay, I meant to tell you, but I didn't. But other than that, I think gear-wise, I am, Bill, I gotta tell you, I mean, my hat's off to you. I think I have a lot to learn from you. You're really good
Absolutely.
with jerry rigging up. You're like the MacGyver of Bigfoot. Jerry rigging up
It's organized
equipment.
too.
Very
Thank you.
organized. You're very methodic. Bingo. You're talking and working and putting equipment together. Very thorough, very smooth, and very thoughtful of your camera angles. And like, you know, we come out here, you got your full spectrum camera set up in a nice spot just off the side of the road.
Oh, that was the IR.
Right on. You know, I mean, you're always thinking, you're always getting stuff put out there. Brent, you're, you know, you are, you know, you got the gear out. You're, let's go over here. There's not a lot of in between. You're like a leader. I got this figured. Let's go over here. Check this out. I'll show you this. We'll do that. I think it would be a good idea if we, you know, set up over here. And when somebody else has an idea, you're all open ears, and I really appreciate that. And that's what it takes. I think we work together really well. I was really pleased with it, and I think I have a little bit of learning to do with the Zoom recorders and the Tascam as far as how long they're going to stay active with the battery pack that I'm putting onto it. And I think that new setting with the this spring, realizing that the best waveform setting was up 96-bit, I didn't take into consideration how fast that would chew up my SD cards, and so I didn't bring enough 32 gig SD cards, and I didn't remember that the Zoom H1s only took up to 32. So when I had them 64s,
Yep.
we had to trade up because
Because it was
otherwise
like,
I'd be down an audio recorder now.
it's like 2 gigabytes per 1 hour of recording.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I would, and
And I forgot that you were filming this one. I was staring into that camera. That's all right. You
That's
got a
okay.
nice profile, right?
yeah, you
side
know,
profile.
that's part of the thing, you know.
No.
I would add that,
We'll give you a break.
yeah, we
Been running since this morning.
learned and developed with each other. We've learned each other from a different light, a larger aspect of our true selves. I think that's a huge one. The other thing, we played off of each other's strengths. We didn't, you know, highlight any weaknesses. We just played off the strengths, and we worked from there and went forward. You know, I thought that was really good for a small group of people. You know, New York, Washington, Ohio, never met before. 2 days, we did a lot of stuff. You know,
Covered a lot of ground.
a lot of ground. We did, you know, and I would like to go back and talk about that last night. You know, same thing, just in that occasion, because that was very tough on the driver, that was tough on the eyesight, and that was tough on, you know, the communication part.
Mhm.
All right, so
And we
what?
tried some new stuff too, right? I mean, we did. We tried some new stuff. We, you know, Brent was in the back of the truck. We were doing the, you know, was the Taliban machine gun guys
Yeah,
on the back
well,
of the
that's what it
Toyotas,
felt
right?
like.
Yeah, right. You were set up on the back of the truck, sprawled out with the camera. We had cameras in the windshield, and Bill had all the hookups for the thermal cameras pointing out the windows. I mean, we had cameras. That was a mobile camera machine searching for Sasquatch or any other living thing that had body heat wiggling around. We would have caught it.
Yeah, and that's kind of what, you know,
That was good.
we'll cover that towards the end. We'll do this one all, you know, whole thing, and then just that operation, because that was a pretty that was a pretty intense operation when you think about it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and you know, the next time, you know, you might be doing the operation. Next time, Jonathan might be doing the operation, and you know, I might be doing. And if we can take the knowledge from that and how to improve it, you know, that's what this is about: making it better, and working things out. The only, you know, like I said, I want to save that portion.
We had audio running at all times, and what I did pick up on that, I was hearing each one of us, do we have audio running? Do we have audio running? And I was never hearing no.
Yeah.
Somebody always had audio running, and we had, you know, video and camera set up in the perimeter, and we had audio off in the, couple of miles away in different areas where things may have happened. And yeah, and we've had a couple instances that caught our attention. We have some things that we have to get in and look at and analyze that were interesting, and that's what it's all about. We'll see what the outcome is. You know, could be nothing.
Things that could be improved.
This tree could be back just 2 foot.
For me, I wish I would have brought a chair.
Yeah.
A chair?
The little things like that.
Right on.
Probably, Jonathan brought it up, I think probably the biggest one was comms. Because once you're out and about, and if you need help in a hurry, you know, that our comms was not the best. I don't know how, you know.
And I went to great lengths to have good comms, because I have in my cord bag, I have the earpiece with that plugs into 2 brand new Midland high-end, high-range 2-way radios.
Yep.
But for the goodness sakes, I lost the one leaving the camp that night. I think I left it right on the back of the truck, because I had been setting it right on the bed of the truck. And I think we just left there so quick that I took off and it fell right off onto the ground, and I think the cleaner got it.
I would also say that, you know, on the 2 radios, I think you got the one that made sound, and I had the one that was set up for ear operation. So it didn't make all the beeps and everything when you did stuff. I wish I would have had my ear operation stuff, but unfortunately it's probably being sold on eBay right now. Because that's something I want to do at some point. I would like to have a base camp situation and just several people out there and listening and observing, and watching, you know, with comms, with base, you know, doing the Alabama tick thing buried in, and just,
yeah.
You know.
And if you want to get honest research out of there, and you want to do things that are that make an interesting video and make the video interesting, I think comms are something that I've always caught on, being like, oh, that sounds really cool. You know, you're not faking a video, you're not making an instance more than what it is. It just is a piece of equipment, and it's cool, and we're using gear, using it right. And I agree. I think good comms would add to the credibility of our communications, and it would add a little bit of spice, which is nice, to the video.
For safety and so forth. No, I think that's one thing none of us like to do, is make calls.
No, I'm not a big tree knocking hooter. No.
Yeah.
I don't think any of us got it. The only call I ever do is the mouth pop, and that ain't gonna go far. Just to see if maybe there's something about that I can get to move. Because
I want to try it one year though, just for the experiment. As a matter of fact, I have a video that's going to be coming out where I'm talking about that, because I don't do wood knocks or don't do whoops to elicit a response. My idea is to get together with a group of guys in research area 2, because every time that I hear something, I have it on my recorder, I put it in my journal. I have dated mathematics to, I've heard this many knocks over this period of time, more generally at this time of the year or not. And then if we go in there with a bunch of guys and start try to elicit a tree knock or a whoop by, you know, projecting those calls. And if I can get in there with different groups of guys, and over the period of one season, 5 trips in, I go back and look at the data and be like, we got, 10 times the amount of knocks back and 10 times the amount of whoops back. Well then, all right, still haven't figured out what's making the knock, still haven't figured out what's making the whoop, but it's definitely turning the whoop knocking thing on. It's worth a try.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. In my suspicion of whatever is whooping out there is that it's a what the heck is it? Alert call. Do you do something, all of a sudden it wants to alert something nearby or whatever, whoop, and that comes from exposure. Yeah, it would be something like if we were all out here another night. Okay, tonight we're gonna blow a whistle here every now and then, just something, or even I've tried to get somebody to use an air horn once. Just blow that air horn, see what happens. See if we can get whoop 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 whoop. Because I do have that's another video. It sounds like a low flying plane and something below it, and you just hear a whole cascade of whoop 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 whoop.
Chris Spencer he's mentioned more than once that when he's reviewing audio, something interesting happens. Always when that damn plane the jet flies over, the rumble of that, and you're sitting there staring at the spectrogram and you got your headphones on, and that low frequency rumble starts coming in, and then you start getting some notable sounds. Is it similar to the fire whistle going off and dogs starting to howl? I mean, does sounds make animals react?
Yeah.
Commercial sounds, jets, planes, fire whistles, fireworks.
I mean, turkey hunting, I think coyote hunting now too, are documented. That actually using an air horn and blowing it, or a whistle blowing it, will get wild turkeys to react.
Really?
It'll get them to shock. There's a shock gobble and there's a putt, but you're trying to get them to shock gobble to give away their location. So you blow an air horn and the turkey just automatically
right on edge.
And coyotes too, you can shock call a coyote to give up its location. So yeah, I mean that exists.
Interesting.
Anything you thought we could improve upon, Brent?
Things that we could have improved upon, I think probably man, that's a tough one. I thought we did a lot of good things.
I think we did.
We could have not ate, never slept.
Been out there 24/7.
Put on man depends diapers so that we can shit and piss right in them.
Yep.
Go full core Navy SEAL. Crawled under the moss.
Yeah.
In just the camera lens on the cliffside.
Yeah. So much
here.
we could have done. Yeah.
So much we. I'm just joking, Bill.
And I think that's another thing that we kind of missed on the positives about this was. This wasn't intended.
Yeah.
Yes.
This was an adaptation.
Yeah.
And to adapt for it, as quickly as we did, I think that needs to be, highlighted. We weren't able to dig in. You've got local knowledge of it. We was able to get a little bit off of Onyx. I wasn't able to get anything map-wise.
1,000%.
Now going back to where, when you and I turned around and we basically swapped places. I turned, the one was dead. The one camera behind me was dead, so I put my thermal there.
Yeah.
We swapped places, and I drove us back.
Yep.
And when it's coming back, our one thing is the phone was off, so we did miss recording whatever was giving off that eye shine, or recording that eye shine. What happened was we came back up the trail, and somewhere over in here, there's a large tree, and it looked like they weren't big eyes. You know what I'm saying? They weren't like baseball size. It just looked like, a red eye return that went from the trail this way into the woods. So that kind of made me wonder if it was an owl. Jonathan at the time was resting.
He was sleepy.
Yeah. But then the next thing we ran into, which I thought was very odd, was the sudden smell of rotten feet. And we got through that. Jonathan had woke up and even smelled that. And from there, was you had passed back out, and I had heard some kind of crazy ass call, and it seemed pretty close. It, you know, at first when I talked to Ren about it, I was like, man, it sounds like babies crying. But I kind of thought, well, that's not really a good description. It was more, you know, and I thought, I mean, that actually made the hair on the back of my neck stand up. But, you know, and watching some of the thermal footage while you guys were out this morning, there are some big birds that fly around at night out here. Off that static cam, and that it was catching them. So maybe that was a bird call, hopefully.
Yeah.
I prefer that over.
Well, it's something I'm sure you're probably going to go check out the McCall Library and see if you can kind of figure out something that's more native to Washington State here.
I
But-
pulled up
That-
Macaulay last
That is
night.
at night. Called at night.
And I pulled up Macaulay last night, and I pulled up Macaulay this morning, and I actually took a snapshot of all the birds that it picked up on the screen from this morning. And last night, the two birds that were yiping, I can't remember the first one, but the second one, when I was telling you guys, was the, I'm not going to get the name perfectly right, but it was called like the common hawk, or whatever it was. And it showed a picture of the hawk. You remember when they were flying through last night?
Hell yeah,
like,
man.
I mean,
they're
they were
like
like
gonna buzz my
Japanese
head.
zeros.
Yeah, man. I was like, damn, son.
That was fun. Yeah, that was a good time.
Took my head off.
So,
You know, the whole mimicking thing. If I was a Bigfoot, I would rather mimic known animals versus giving away my own location.
you know, that's a good point to bring up because we had at one point, we had heard that owl the first night and like, what the hell's wrong with that bird?
Didn't sound right at first.
No, it did not sound right at all.
No. And then remember when you guys first showed up and I first met you and Jesse and I'm not sure. I think it was Jesse that mentioned it, or Bill, because you were there and you and Jesse had gone up the road and came back. Remember the mumbling heard like, it sounded like people
Oh,
talking?
We kept
The
hearing
night
people
before,
yeah.
I heard that again. You know, I had heard that the first night I was here, and there'll be on one of my audios, there's a T mark where I mentioned it sounds like there's some sort of mumbling or something going on. I don't know if there's somebody that's come in, and I just didn't know that they were
the
there.
unusual scent thing too. I thought that was, you know, just, you know, this was pretty much done for the talk video last night. But you know, it's the other weird things. Yeah, I thought that really I thought was weird.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know, just sitting down there. You guys had left. You know.
Yep.
That strange scent that came in. It wasn't a good scent. It was
Yep.
similar to that like rotten feet scent again.
Mhm.
And then shortly after it was the scent of her perfume, but you guys were all the way at the other end of the field.
We were long since gone by then.
So that didn't make, that made zero sense.
We'd have to look up the most common fauna and just read a brief description of, you know, the smell. Like what
Mhm.
kind do they give off an aroma? Because
They-
there are plants that
Very
smell
pleasant.
skunky, that smell like garbage
yeah.
if you crush them up.
Yeah, well, even mushrooms. Like, look at the stinkhorn. I mean, the stinkhorn smells like decaying flesh,
Right.
garbage, trash. You know, and
Just take a deer to step on 2-3 of those, and you come by half an hour later, and you're like,
Is there
smells like
stinkhorn
death
in the
over
area?
here.
yeah, there's
Okay.
stinkhorns like everywhere.
And
They're
that
very
would make
common.
sense because shortly before that I had heard,
But no, those that doesn't smell like the rotten. Well, I mean, I don't know. But the thing is, if it was like a stinkhorn, it's a stationary thing. I've been up and down that river trail so many times. I have not smelled anything bad like that. So
Yeah.
if it was a stinkhorn, and I don't even know if this is the season for them either. I think it's later in the fall is when they're most abundant.
yeah, it didn't linger. It hit and then it passed away. You
You
know,
know,
it was really weird.
Happen and stuff.
No, it's good.
Well,
Oh, it sounds lovely.
so we should plan ahead for another, you know, possible trip to here, and then.
Well, I mean, you also have your area too. I don't mind going.
Oh,
back.
Oh yeah, you would love that up there. You really would.
Yeah.
It's beautiful up there.
I mean, but if you guys ever want to come back up here, you know,
Mhm.
you
I'm
got
there.
that's Whitehall. I'll be joining him at Whitehall.
Yeah.
When's
Where's
that?
that?
In August? In New York?
Last week of
Whitehall
September.
Sasquatch Festival. So usually third weekend in September, right? 1 year it
Last
was
year
the
on
20th
29th.
or 29th or something.
Cascades 2024.
North Cascades 2024.
North Cascades 2024 on 1, 2. North Cascades 2024. 2020.
All right, we're heading out. So we just pulled up in here. No sooner got out of the trucks. Jonathan's standing over there. And we heard this like, "Woo." And it repeated twice. "Woo." Woo. Jonathan's recording it. My recorders are both dead. Hopefully the audio on this is good enough. Let's go across the bridge. Alright, so we know the answer.
You think that guy's making that noise? It sounds like a dog.
You can't,
Big Saint Bernard or something.
maybe. Definitely can't rule them out.
That's, little do we know that poor guy was probably could just barely see us and was like, "Save me!" The Sasquatch is molesting him.
But I mean, same time too, like I came up the trail and you see this right here, when you get further down the trail, it looks like a freaking person standing there about to step out in the trail. Especially last night, I about crapped my pants when I come around the corner. I didn't say anything about it. I was like, oh, shit.
And these trees are so damn big that, like, I could see where a Bigfoot could hide behind one.
Oh,
of these.
easily. I mean, for as wide as I am, I can hide behind one of them. That's one thing. I come back here, I got to make sure I'm in better shape. Although,
You did great, man.
I only had a couple moments where my feet were bothering me.
Yeah. My hip was hurting last night. It was just pushed a little bit too hard. I had done quite a bit of jumping around the woods.
Shit.
You gotta crawl over shit and that moss, like you can't see what's underneath it. What's under that moss is rotten logs, they're just kind of covered with moss and wobbling all over the place.
I wish I would have taken this up back when I was 40-year-old me.
Yeah,
Well, I could have freaking done this trail carrying you and Brent together.
Yep.
It was just like a boop, boop.
Very nice. I'm gonna grab that truck.
So yeah, this is my last trip. I just want to say I enjoyed your home. If you are here, I'm truly talking to something. I just want to say thank you. I appreciate your dedication, your love, and your want of nature. It's very much like my own. And you people of the forest, I wish my predecessors would have done things better for the forest. Some of these grand old trees. And appreciate you for letting me be here and not scaring me out of my mind or chasing me off. I suspect you're here. I don't mean you any harm. If it's reciprocated, do you mind just giving me like a good quality wood knock before I walk up the trail and head home? Okay. Okay. Don't forget to say goodbye to them when you go. The other thing too you might want to consider is that if you're going to be here for a couple more days, although you'd have to lug all that lumber down here.
Oh, come down here.
Come down here.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna minimize the extra work and stay right there. Not that that ain't a great idea at all, but try to conserve energy. I'm gonna get into the woods. I'm gonna start traipsing through the woods and look for stuff like, you know, footprints and stuff like that.
Yeah, I saw the impression when we stepped over.
Find that stuff out in the woods out there and get some scans of, you know, whatever's out there. It ain't always about Bigfoot for me. Whatever I can find out there is interesting.
Because some of the suspect impressions, I mean, there's a lot of impressions. Just don't get eaten by a grizzly.
Here's what I found over there yesterday. It's hard to...
Yeah.
And that's 9.5 by 5, 4, 3.
Yeah, I didn't find any. Well, that was the other thing too with the power. For lack of a better word, power curtailment. I would see a lot of stuff. I don't know. It's hard to present items at times. You want my honest opinion about the guy riding a bicycle? He's a footer.
Big footer?
Yeah.
Sure didn't have any equipment to do so. He had a bag of cleaning supplies. Spray bottles, wet shop rags, Clorox, just Windex. It looked like a cleaner's bag. And when we saw him yesterday, he had a mask on.
And it could be, you know,
Allergies.
well, if you got allergies, why would you come out here?
Yeah.
It could be that the bottles are not what they appear. You know, electric bikes are huge with the big footing set because you can roll right up and not be heard. You know, as opposed to us and our noisy trucks.
The only thing about those mountain bikes and cruising through the forest that I would have a bit of an issue with, I would want to have some extra protection, is mountain lions. I don't have that over at home, but around here, cruising through the woods at 25 miles an hour, you know, that cat, the way its perception of seeing you, might not see the bike, to see you flying and just pounce.
Or spook a big old grizzly.
Yeah. Holy shit. At least when I'm out here on my feet, you know, I'm only kind of somewhat still hunting, sort of to say, or taking the time to look around my surroundings and listen and make sure I ain't walking right up on something. Start running through the woods, jump over a stump, land right on top of the cougar. Tell you what, these grass snakes are humongous around here.
I tell you.
I've seen 2 of them now, and both of them are freaking 1.5 inches around, 5 feet long.
It's crazy how them cougars migrate up from Las Vegas and hang out. No.
That would be nice. I'll tell you that. What a dream come true. Have a few gals and a cooler full of beer show up here tonight. Holy shit. Won't be no filming then.
Like this here, to be honest with you, Brent should consider sponsoring an outing for here, you know?
Yeah, I was kind of waiting for him to say that, but I also was wondering if he's a little reserved about exploiting the place. But amongst friends,
I mean, that's realistic. Trap shooter, I couldn't figure.
Yeah.
That's realistic.
Yep.
But
I was like that way, you know, same way with Research Area 2 for the first 2.5 years. Then I realized I need help. It's going to take me 10 years to discover, to, you know, walk every square 100 foot of that area.
well, like here, I mean, if we wanted to, and you had enough people, you could base camp out in that field where we was at, and then set a camp up here, set a camp down there, you know,
By radio.
go by radio.
I'm all about that, man. Disperse out.
And disperse
cover
out,
Greater
cover-
area. Yes.
You know,
Yep. You could have like one test different things, because say at that camp out there where we're at right now, I mean, one team's job could be just being normal, no equipment whatsoever in there. Grab a 12-pack, football, frisbee, and plan on you're just there to hang out, turn the radio on, listen to country music,
Yep.
do some dancing, do what people do, you know, have a great time, and then call it a night and get in the tent and kind of accidentally leave some food out.
You can't really do much audio wise here, but you can You know, you get a group that are all sight hunters,
Yeah.
ambushers. I mean, like this.
Then you could have your snipers coming in late in the afternoon to get set up on the cliffs,
I don't know.
overlooking the field with infrared scopes, night scopes, 9-power infrared, or however, it's probably way more powerful than 9-power nowadays.
I don't know where I could hide. I don't see any trees I'd want to go up in a climber. I'd be kind of spooked to go up on any of these trees with a climber.
You know what? I think some of those younger, fir trees or whatever they are, because Brent was talking about these great big bastards being howl. But something like a young one of those, they don't have no branches on them and they're straight and narrow.
Well, you know, you got to watch it too, because some of these are aspens, and aspens have no power, no strength.
Right.
And you know, you get up in one and you get a good wind blow and it snaps you while you're off in it.
Oh my good sakes, I don't want to go down. Not from up there, that hurts.
All right, Jonathan.
Yeah, Bill, good times, man.
All right, I
Talk
will
to you.
see you
Right on.
next time. Well, PA.
I'll see if I can get out there. You know, I'll see. I didn't want to commit to anything and start talking about I'm coming there when it's the busy season with work with me, and it's when I make my money. So
Yeah, I mean, that's more of a festival type thing, but I know a little bit of the history, a little bit of the area.
Yep.
We used to whitewater raft there 30 years ago.
Oh, nice.
If that place gets too packed, we can go out and go up to the state campground.
Mm-hmm.
Which, you know, I haven't been to in 30 years. I don't even know what it looked like now. But we have a group camp there at the Bigfoot camp out in Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have a group camp all the way out at the end. So far, it's, as I know, it's Deb, Jen, and I. And haven't heard anything from anybody else who wants to hop in. It's already paid for, so the camping, you got a place to camp. I'm allowed 8 people. I'm not sure if Bud and Angie's coming, but
Okay.
um,
And that's the 3rd through the 5th? August 3rd through the 5th?
no, this is in September.
Oh.
Hocking Hills is
Hocking Hills is the 3rd
3rd, yeah.
through the 5th.
That's like Vendorama.
Right, let me,
If you want to hear the speakers, it's super expensive this year.
really.
Both OCC and Hocking Hills was super expensive for speakers.
Okay, what's this other one you're talking about? What's the name of it?
It's the Bigfoot Campout.
Bigfoot Camp.
Steve's supposed to be there, Mike and Gordon supposed to be there. Yeah, you'll have to look it up, and
And that's in September?
yeah,
September.
that's on the Chestnut Ridge.
All right, my man.
All right,
Drive safe. God bless.
all right.
See you again soon.
All righty. Now, with the amount of ambient noise being caused by the river and the waterfall in the background being entirely too close, I can't do what I normally do, and that's bring out the sounds into the CQT so we can actually look for fundamental voice fluctuations, however you want to call them. And so I'm just going to play them straight through. Go back and forth, highlight which ones that I believe are interesting. And be quite honest with you, again, this is audio without video or true connection. Doesn't really signify a whole lot whether it's a known creature or unknown creature. And I'm just going to read off real quick, because as I go through audio, I take a ton of notes, and I do it quick. You know, I'm just listening, writing down, okay, here, this, and then I go back and I dig it out, and then if I need to, I switch it over to the CQT to see if I can find any fundamentals, and I go on from there. Not going to have a whole lot of luck here with this one. and which is bad because there is a lot of interesting stuff in it. And I wasn't quite expecting that much, but let's start, and we'll start with the very first recording, which I wrote down as having nothing of value on it. There is a part where I was going to, point out Jonathan walking past the audio recorder, though. Okay, in Zoom file 2, there is a lot of movement going on. There are some distant locals that I'm hearing, and when I'm listening to audio, I'm listening mainly through my phone. It's got Dolby Atmos on it. I have it set to auto, and I usually turn it to jazz, and I suspect sometimes that's why I hear vocals, others don't, because of that program. But anyhow, in Zoom 2, we have steps right next to the recorder that it wasn't us because we was on the road. And maybe a little deep breath there. And I also pulled out some kind of vocal there as well. And maybe I'll share pictures of the note files because, I go through with one color and then go back through with red and sometimes green, blue, depending on how many times I actually go through the audio. Okay, Zoom file 3 gets very interesting. It does sound like there's a whoop in there. And I'm going to say this once again. When it comes to whoops, I'm very much at this point interested in either very quiet, that quiet whoop, or, that a much more louder define. And when I say define, I want to hear that huh in the front and the p in the back. Because there's a lot of animals that make very similar sounds. And at the same time, too, I'm also not as hung up on whoops as one might think. I just find them interesting. And then we get to a tree knock. And that tree knock, I'm going to have some issues with. And the reason I'm having issues with it is that back east, I would say that was a man-made knock. That does not sound like what I've experienced and what I've heard out east. Like I said, it sounds very suspicious. And, a lot of distance going on there as well in the background. And shortly after that tree knock, it does sound like something walked up to the recorder again.
Okay, in Zoom 4, there is quite a bit of vocalization going on. Again, it's distant. The white noise, every time I try to bring it out, the program doesn't know the difference between white noise and the audio that I'm hearing. Blends them together and it just gets worse. So, not a whole lot I could do with that. I did note some fox barks and some interesting audio going on around the recorder, where it sounds like, once again, something's come up to the recorder. It sounds like something's digging, and it sounds like something found the recorder. Okay, Zoom 5. This is one that I am. Okay, you take the whoops and stuff. I'm still going to be kind of like, I don't know. And you take that wood knock that didn't sound quite right. But you add to it that ooh-ah sound. And now things change. Because at 1042, I'm hearing an ooh-ah in the audio. And the only other place that I have recorded that ooh-ah is in New York. And it gets a little bit more interesting. Because, as you all know, this is my last night there. The next night, it's quite possible that ooh-ah is going to be heard by somebody else in a totally different location. Quite possible. It sounds... yeah, we're probably going to hear about it sometime. Okay, and then... okay, I did have a whoop in there that I suspected, but then I decided it was a fox. And that's pretty much it for Zoom 5. Like I said, if I hear that ooh-ah, and it's very deep, it's ooh-ah, ooh-ah. And when I hear it, you get an audio recording from one part of the country and a different part of the country, that gets interesting. Because once you reach that ooh-ah, you no longer have, owls go out the window, a lot of animals go out the window, and then you get down to men, and so, humans, and how many humans walk around in the woods going ooh-ah? And like I said, it was recorded in New York, on New York recordings. I'm very excited about that and the possibilities. And let's see, Zoom 6. I just pulled out some suspect whoops. And, you know, that's another thing, too, that you start running into is that you kind of start getting tired of going through each sound. Or, you know, I skip like movements and stuff like that. Like, yeah, it's a movement, but, you know, what's moving? Who knows? Couple odd things in the background. Did seem like there was music being played far off. But I dug into it and I didn't find any music. I kept chasing down. If I heard any mumbling, I chased it down in all the audio recordings and all the captures, and I didn't find one. And I'm just going to go ahead and go to. No, 1 second. There's something about Zoom 6. Okay. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you, because it's just going to go ahead and jump over to CQT, that, you know, in Zoom 7, there's a bunch of vocals. Again, too distant. I can't bring them out. All I can do is try and run them, and hopefully the audience can hear them. But probably the most interesting one was at 1551. Because it does sound like something comes straight out the recorder.